should I add changing my set of suits and my phone as part of it if I'm getting a loan? Maybe if I'm going to get a loan to start up a new business, maybe the banker should look at me and say, Bosin, maybe we should add a few 100 or 100,000 to make sure you change your shoes and your suit as well as part of the loan you're going to take from the bank, because we know if we give you this 500,000, you're going to go change your suit first and change this old Samsung you're using. So we just give you a bit of that money to make sure your lifestyle is part of the package.
So when you approach a banker, a credit officer with a business plan, people should also know that you are not the first person approaching the banker. You are not. Several persons have approached him or her with same business idea over a period of time. So that banker might even know so much more than you know about that business. So he's not interested in who you are as a person. He's interested in your understanding of the business you want to invest in. And most importantly, the risks involved in that business. So most times when you underplay the risks involved in your business and you project the good side of it, the banker begins to think, oh, this guy does not even know where the business he wants to step into. So there's no, you can't go apply for a loan and you're making provision for consumption financing. No. Consumption financing should come from the percentage of the profit you intend to make. So a good case would then be to say, okay, look, if I run the business for 6 months, I will raise this amount of money in profit, and when I do, I will invest XYZ percentage of it into the business. And I will say something here. Every business is made up of 3 distinct entities: the business itself, the business owner, and the customers. The business is what you see as a physical structure. The business owner is a part of the business, and customers also are a part of your business. If you don't understand this frame and you make profit of, say, 1,000 naira a day, and you decide to take the 1,000 as the business owner, you are denying the business and the customers a portion of the profit you've made. And if that continues to happen, you might then have your business going down while you are going up and your customers leaving you.
So do we then blame the banks for not giving credit to entrepreneurs and small and medium enterprises when they knock their doors and they say, sorry, we can't give it to you at 9-10%. You're taking it at 20-25% and above?
Now, even at 20-25% and above, it is still not easily accessible to small business holders. Even the one from your DFIs, your CBN, your BOI, your BOA, they come at less than 10%, most of them at 9%. But the question now is, are those business owners prepared and have the right criteria that the banks require of them? It is almost not there. And also, we need to get to a point where the Nigerian government begins to support banks who support MSMEs, to say, look, if you advance loan of, say, 100 million to MSMEs in Nigeria and 20% of it goes bad, we'll be able to maybe take off 10% of it from you. We have not gotten to that point. So when a commercial bank is lending to a small business owner, the bank understands that the entire risk of that transaction is on it. So it wants to be very safe in advancing that money. So government also has a role to play to help de-risk the entire lending system for MSMEs. The world over, it happens. It happens. You don't just allow banks to carry the entire risk of lending to MSMEs. If the entire risk is on the commercial banks, they want to back out.
But so that's what we got here on paper, because right now the central bank is saying, look, lend to big companies at 9%. We will open the back door for you as a bank to get your cash reserve ratio, your money back. But nobody's providing a cover for the small and medium enterprises.
Nobody's providing the cover. Even when the BOI launched the youth entrepreneurship program they had with NYSC, it was in the news in 2016 or thereabout that all you need to do is to bring your NYSC certificate, which should hold more than 3 years, and you get a loan. But the reality of the fact is that what happened and why that scheme did not take off well is that CBN was not willing to share the risk with the commercial banks. So the commercial banks are meant to accept NYSC certificate from graduates as collateral for the loan. But when they now go to CBN to access the CBN fund provided for that program, CBN is asking for a bank guarantee. So banks said, look, it won't work. We can't hold paper from the graduate as collateral. And when we come to you, you are not willing to accept that NYSC certificate from us. You're asking us to give you bank guarantee. We can't do that. And 2 years after, nobody has said anything about that program. Nobody has benefited from it. So CBN should also look at, as much as it's trying to support the big guys, you should have such a program for small and micro enterprise, because MSMEs contribute the greatest to economic growth in Nigeria and the world over. They contribute the highest number of jobs created in every economy. We need to get to the point where we sit back and say, look, why have the previous funding initiative we had in the last 5 years not worked? What worked against those interventions? Can we address them? And the challenge still remains de-risking the sector, de-risk the sector. If you don't de-risk lending to MSMEs, commercial banks will keep running away from MSMEs.
And so how do we grow our MSMEs into global brands? I'm not too sure if we have any, maybe with the exception of Jumia and a few others there expanding across Africa. We haven't really seen much of those in industrial manufacturing MSMEs become global brands.
So if you look at the Aba industrial sector, we know of a couple of interventions government has put in the papers it wants to do for the sector, like the power supply, solar power supply for them, giving them some infrastructure to work with. But if you ask me, I think it's been a long time coming that we've had several of these rhetorics. We want to give them dedicated power supply, want to provide infrastructures to them. Those are MSMEs who have endured over a long period of time producing footwear, clothing, and the rest. The example I would have loved to see is where government goes beyond saying it wants to doing these things in practical. Turn around the entire Aba industrial sector. Use that as a case study. I remember last time we spoke, I said, look, it's not just about supporting the guys in Aba there. The raw materials come from somewhere. Leather comes from Kano and some other states in Nigeria. What is the entire value chain for supporting the guys in the Aba industrial sector? We need to have a development plan that says in the next 5 years, we want the Aba industrial sector to grow outside of Nigeria and supply the West Africa market. And for that to happen, this is what we'll do in the first 6 months, in the next 12 months, in the next 18 months, next 24 months, next 36 months, and we follow through that religiously until we begin to do that. And I tell you something, supporting MSMEs is not what you do within 3-4 years, no. It's something you have a deliberate plan, 5-10 years, and you work with that deliberate plan. If not, if you want to go through the ad hoc approach of starting an intervention today, launch something else tomorrow, it doesn't work for MSMEs.
So if you put what the current administration has been doing in a basket, as it were, you talk about the value chain there. For example, if you're sewing shoes in Aba, for example, within the area market, the leather, whatever, comes from Kano and elsewhere in the north. Where is the linkage, and should we just be supporting Aba here or supporting Kano and other centers as well? If not, you're going to find out sometime later that you've helped area markets down there in Aba or the Nnewi folks, whereas the guys in Ibadan, Kano, Port Harcourt, Calabar are out of the loop.
So that's why I said we need to have a development plan that we are working with to say, look, to develop the leather industry in the north, we have this plan. And I know we have about 4 agencies that are into leather research and the rest in Nigeria, government funded. And we've interfaced with most of them to say, look, what plans do you have as regards what government is doing for the Aba industrial sector? And little or nothing comes out from them. So that plan starts from where the raw material is sourced, how it's processed, how it's transported, and how it's going to be used. What the guys in Aba do is essentially to use the raw materials. They don't process it, they don't produce it, they don't process it, and they don't transport it. Is there a possibility that the transporting system presently being used reduces the quality of leather that the guys get in Aba? We need to address that. The way we source it, is there something defective in that process? We need to get all of this into a basket and begin to address the source of the raw materials, processing it, transporting it before the guy in Aba gets to use it. So like I said, we need to have a development plan for every sector to say, look, for the clothing industry, this is what we want to do, and this is what it takes us to do it. Before going to the market to say, oh, we are putting solar in the market, may not solve the entire problem, because the raw material that will end up using comes from a source. Is that source right? Are they getting it at the right condition?
Celestine Okeke, the lead partner at SEED. Thank you very much for your time this morning, this public holiday. We appreciate you coming through from Abuja studios.